Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to change the way the world eats. My name is Shurina. I'm a certified nutritionist, health, nutrition, performance coach, and just someone with a huge passion for food and helping people to learn again how to use nutrition as a tool to feel, look, and do our absolute best. Guys, yesterday I gave a talk in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, for Digital Nomad Tribe, and the topic of my talk was focused brain, nutrition, and lifestyle. I gave people quite a few tools from lifestyle toolkit and nutrition toolkit to improve the way our brain functions. I dedicated a lot of time on the talk to sleep and habits, light habits, and eating habits, drinking caffeine habits around sleep. I wanted to focus on sleep quality because, as I mentioned in my talk and as I'm mentioning here, sleep is much more important than nutrition, guys. I love nutrition. I'm super passionate about food and nutrition, but if your sleep is compromised, if the quality of your sleep is not where it could be, then the quality of your life, your brain performance, the way you look, the way you feel, the way you think, nothing is gonna be at its best. And that's why I dedicate so much time to research everything that I can find on sleep from neuroscience labs, from the best sleep researchers, and I do my best to connect nutrition to sleep to help people to improve sleep quality by using certain nutrition tools. And I always make sure that people I interact with are also familiar with all the basic routines and habits that we need to build around sleep to improve the quality of that sleep. And guys, sleep, it's crucial for brain performance, for memory formation, for your motivation, for your focus, for your attention, for your learning abilities, for your creativity. Sleep is essential for all of these aspects of brain performance. And in order for our brain to deliver optimal sleep experience, we need to make sure that our circadian clock in our brain and in all of our cells, those clocks, they work properly. And in order for us to do that, we need to view natural sunlight, especially around sunrise time, and a lot of sunlight, natural light during the day. And then at night, we need to be really careful with viewing, or to be precise, not viewing a lot of bright and artificial light that is emitted from all of our devices. So we need to do all of this. But guys, in order for light to work, when we look at sunlight or when we expose ourselves to natural sunlight, when our eyes see that natural sunlight, we actually need, as we already talked on one of the episodes, we need vitamin A to be present in our body. We need to eat foods with vitamin A in order for that reaction of transmission of light signal to our brain to happen. So basically, the light hits our eyes, and there are molecules of vitamin A that are being activated by that light. And that activates a chain of chemical reactions that transmit that information about sunlight, about natural light towards our brain. If we don't have vitamin A, that signal is not going to be transmitted towards our brain. And so we can see sunlight all day long and not actually being able to properly set our circadian clock, the clock inside of our brain that regulates our sleep-wake cycle, that regulates the quality of our sleep, and that regulates our brain performance, but also our mood, our appetite, so many things, right? So without vitamin A, for example, that is not going to happen. We already talked on this podcast how vitamin A, the richer sources are things like liver, and a lot of people do not eat a lot of liver, also egg yolks. A lot of people try to avoid eggs for one reason or the other. If we are talking about plant-based sources, then we need to we need to make plant-based vitamin A or beta-carotene into vitamin A that we actually can use in our body, because animal food form is different from plant-based food form. But even if we get all the vitamin A, guys, even that is not enough, believe it or not. We also need zinc, this mineral, this essential mineral that we need for health. We also need zinc to activate that vitamin A to be used for all kinds of vision purposes and for the purpose of setting our circadian clock. So we need vitamin A. And by the way, from plant-based sources, you can eat vitamin A from things like sweet potatoes or pumpkins. All of the orange foods, we need to eat about 200 to 300 grams daily. That's about 10 ounces. We can also eat provitamin A, a plant-based version that we then need to make into animal-based version into our body. So we also can eat foods like spinach. But then again, as I mentioned, we also need to eat zinc to activate that vitamin A. So let's say you ate your liver or your egg yolks or all of the carrots and pumpkins and sweet potatoes, and you made a lot of vitamin A, but you don't have zinc, then you're not going to be able to activate those circadian clocks in our brain and all over our body, in all of the cells. And you're not going to be sleeping well, and then your brain not going to work well. And you might be wondering, like, what's wrong with me? I go to bed at good times. I see natural sunlight. I don't look at bright light during the night, and I still can't sleep. So maybe zinc is your problem. Zinc. Where can we eat zinc? Well, the richer source is oysters. And even I don't eat oysters. You need about a couple of oysters to get all the zinc in the best, most absorbable form possible. So just a couple of oysters per day. Another second best source is beef, and lamb is also quite good source in general. Lean meat of bigger animals, but specifically beef. Beef is the best source. So lean beef is the second best source. But even then, you need to eat about 300 grams of it per day to get all the zinc. Then things like chicken, forget about it. You need to eat a pound and a half of chicken, of dark chicken, not chicken breast, but actually dark chicken meat to get all the zinc. Plant-based sources? Well, one of the richest plant-based sources of zinc, for example, is pumpkin seeds. In order to get all the zinc, in theory, that you need, you'll need to eat about 150 grams of pumpkin seeds every day. That's going to total in more than 900 calories from just pumpkin seeds to potentially get zinc. Why I say potentially? Because when it comes to grains, nuts, and seeds, things like lentils, plant-based sources of zinc, they are either bound to phytates, those plant compounds that actually prevent us from absorbing certain minerals like zinc. So nutrition researchers, they say that probably you'll need at least 50% more of that zinc to get from plant-based foods if you want to actually absorb your daily needed amount. Probably, because they don't really know, and some other nutrition researchers say that you'll need to eat 100% more of your zinc, or you might not even be able to extract all that zinc no matter how many pumpkin seeds you eat. right? And let's take another zinc, supposedly rich in zinc plant-based food source, lentils. In order to, on paper, meaning again, in theory, get all your zinc, you'll need to eat 7 cups of cooked lentils per day. That's again about 900 calories. And really, you're gonna eat 7 cups of lentils every single day. Well, if you're a fan, might be, but still, it's highly questionable whether you're gonna get that zinc or not. Now, sprouting, soaking, fermentation of grains, nuts, seeds, and things like lentils, it does improve the situation, but nobody knows how well it does improve that. Nobody really measures all these amounts in differently prepared plant-based foods. And so here we go, a situation, guys, where if you don't get enough zinc, that is quite hard to get from all these foods. Even for me, that's why I supplement, actually. Even if you get all of your sun exposure for good quality sleep, when you don't get vitamin A, you don't eat liver, egg yolks, when you don't eat orange foods or a lot of spinach, or your body is not able to convert all that plant-based provitamin A into animal-based form that we actually use. So even if you get all the vitamin A, but you don't get zinc, that is hard to get from foods, almost impossible, actually. And so now you're not going to be able to sleep because of all of these factors, right? And God knows what other factors might be interrupting your ability to absorb zinc or vitamin A, or convert vitamin A, for example, from one version or the other. That's why when it comes to specific nutrients like zinc, for example, that is quite hard again to get from foods, I'm more on the side of supplementation than not, because again, it's almost impossible to get it every single day. Plus the zinc, it's super important, and vitamin A, they are super important for our immune system. They need to create antibodies to fight all the infections going around. And when your body needs those vitamins, the vitamin A or zinc, to fight infections, it's probably not going to be giving it all to all the other functions, like our vision or activating those specific cells that start circadian clock in our brain. So it's quite complicated, and that's why, again, I do recommend you to supplement with zinc at least. And for vitamin A, eat a lot of liver once a week, or cod liver oil, 1 tablespoon per day, or a lot of orange foods, and again, a lot, at least 10 ounces, 300 grams per day. And that's how, using nutrition, you can actually improve your sleep. And that's how also indirectly your brain performance is very much dependent on the quality of your food and specific nutrients in those foods that you eat. So it's not just enough to eat whole food based diet. No, you actually need to know some specific to make sure that you get certain essential nutrients crucial for your sleep and your brain performance. Guys, I hope you found this episode very useful and you're gonna use what you learned today. Maybe eat some more vitamin A rich foods. Maybe look into zinc supplementation. Besides that, of course, share this episode with other people, especially people who complain to you about not sleeping well enough and seemingly doing everything right. Share this episode with them so they might look into other aspects that they might not have considered. And then in the show notes today, also, you're going to find a link to an article that I wrote some time ago that was recently published on entrepreneur.com. It actually came out just this Sunday, and yesterday on Monday, everyone was just retweeting it. And the article is 3 foods to eat for breakfast to improve your focus. Focus It's a state in our brain that requires certain brain chemicals, certain neurotransmitters, and you can actually eat certain foods for breakfast to increase your chances to create those neurotransmitters, those brain chemicals of focus. So check out the link in the show notes. It seems to be very popular among a lot of people. There is quite a lot of science, but also a lot of practical, fun, easy to implement stuff that's gonna increase your focus. So check it out, share this episode, and guys, as usual, till next time, eat better daily.